Thank you for the introduction. I hope you can hear me and see the screen. Awesome. Welcome to today's talk on reverse engineering CISSP practice exams. And this is not a talk about cheating CISSP exam, so I warned you. I have over a decade of programming experience writing code, and then I have several years of application security experience, mostly breaking code. But this is not about me either. If you don't know what CISSP is, it's a very popular security certification. I decided to get it some time ago. And when I took an exam last year, I was presented with 250 multiple choice questions, and they gave me up to 6 hours to finish it. So it's pretty big. This year, they changed the format a little bit. It's now up to 150 questions, up to 3 hours. Basically, computer decides how many questions to ask, depending on how you perform. So, of course, as with any kind of studies, you want to practice, right? And several resources were available to me when I did that, like this official practice test book, or this unofficial third-party practice exams by Sean Harris, and also I downloaded some software that you can run on a computer and kind of just emulate the exam. And we're going to talk about this particular software today. So when I first ran it on my computer and I had a Windows machine with a 4K monitor, I saw this. This is the first dialog window, and as you can see, it looks pretty bad. The content is cropped. There are no buttons. It's completely unusable. So I had to downgrade my resolution just to use it. And let me switch to my Windows virtual machine just to show you how the software looks. Oh, how it's supposed to look. So you start it, and it has 1011. I don't know why 11. But it has over 1,000 questions. And you can click on the button like, let's try an exam. And it picks 250 random questions out of that 1011. Start the exam, and you answer these questions. Then you grade it, yes, and you fail it, right? And you want to do it again, so let's do another one, and it picks 250 questions randomly again. The problem is it picks these questions out of the same set. So you did 250 first, and then you try another set, and it picks out of the same. And so you see repeating questions like over and over again. And I thought, well, this is not good. This is not something that I'm interested in. I want to hit all these 1,011 questions and try to answer them. Okay. So I thought, can I fix it? So can I get those questions somehow in a format that I like, not that what's given to me, which means crack opening this program and trying to get to the data. And before you ask, the software license did not prohibit reverse engineering. And that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so let me get out of here. Let's take a look where this program is located first. So it's in this directory, and I can press this button, and it takes me right there. And what I see is I see an executable. I see a Java directory. And this directory just has the standard JRE, nothing interesting here. It's Java runtime environment. And I also have a data directory with just a couple of files in it. So that's probably where the data is, right? Now, Windows is not my favorite operating system. So I'm more comfortable in other environments. So I just copied this whole thing to Linux. So here on my Linux machine, I have this executable, Java directory, data directory. And I want to take a look at the stuff and see what I have. So let's go to the data directory. And I have a couple of files there, right? So the first thing to do is to run a Linux file command, which analyzes the file signature, if you will, and tells you what the file is. So I have a properties file, which is expectedly ASCII text, and I have this other file with .ser extension. And this file is Java serialization data. And it's pretty large. It's almost 800K. So that's probably where all these questions are. So that's going to be my target. But how do I get there? How do I read? This is binary format. The serialized Java data is not very, it's not actually human readable. I mean, you can kind of see the text here, but it's not nice. There is a utility called jdeserialize, and you can find it online. And what it does, it loads the data, the serialized Java data, and prints it out in a more like in human readable form. So first, what it does, it prints the declarations of the classes that are serialized, that are in that object. So here's an interesting one, question Java bean. That's probably the one that I'm looking for, with question text and answers and choices text and so on. And as I scroll down, here are some more declarations. As I scroll down, I see the actual practice questions data. Here's the question, for example, when is the emergent state actually over for a company? Here are the possible answers. And here is the explanation that the answer B is correct. So this is kind of okay, but it's still not very. I mean, it has a lot of junk here. So if I practice my CISSP test, it's not something that I want to look at. So I have two choices now. I can maybe write some kind of Python script to parse this. This is pretty much text, easy to parse, maybe. And then output it in the format that I like. And the second option is to just crack open this program, this tester program, because it's written in Java, and it already has all the code to read that serialized data into some kind of internal structure and present it in that GUI. So I decided, well, I'm not a developer anymore. I don't want to write a whole new program. I'm a hacker now, right? So let's hack into that program. But first of all, where is the Java code? We don't have any jar file here. We don't have a, like, normally you see a jar, right? We don't have a jar here. We have this .exe file. So I guess my compiled Java code is somewhere inside that file. So I thought, okay, it's probably some kind of a like self-extracting executable that unpacks on the fly and feeds the compiled Java classes to JVM. And I had this crazy idea. Can I just do this? Can I just try to unzip it with a standard unzip utility, even though it doesn't make much sense? This is executable. And to my surprise, when I hit enter, I saw this. Wow. Pretty awesome. Here are all these classes, right? And just let me show you. So it did complain that I had some extra bytes at the beginning of the file, but then it decided to proceed anyway. Good, good. Okay, so let me just, can you, maybe I should move this up a little bit. Is this better? Yeah. Okay. So I'm creating a directory, and I'm going to go into this directory and unzip everything. And this is what I have now. So I have some compiled Java code in this com directory and some other stuff that I'm not really interested in. Now, where is the entry point of the program? So I thought, well, let me just list all the files in the com directory and search for I think that the entry point will be some kind of main class, would have main in the name. And yeah, there's a few of them. And this looks like maybe a good candidate. Now, the question is, can I just give it to my own JVM? Will it run? Let's see. And it did. There was an issue, though. It said that data directory could not be found. OK, remember the data directory where we had those two files? It's actually one level above. It's right here. So I'll go ahead and create, can't type, a symbolic link. So I have the data directory in my current folder. Not directory, symbolic link to directory. And let me run it again. Wow. So what did we just do? We ported a Windows program to Linux in 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. Yeah, thanks. Of course, it's Java code, so it's supposed to run anywhere, even on your phone, right? OK, cool. So it runs. I have everything that I need now to decompile it. Don't need it. I'm still trying to get to those questions, correct? So when it comes to decompiling Java code, my go-to tool is JD, short for Java Decompiler, very obvious, or JD GUI. They have a really nice GUI. And it's written in Java, of course. It supports several file formats. You can open individual classes. I have maybe 100 of them on the disk right now, but I don't want to open each one of them individually. I want like the whole package, but I don't have a jar file, right? I have that executable, and I don't see .exe here. But it supports a zip file. So let me just zip whatever I have on the disk. And give it to JD GUI. It's OK. So it opened that zip file. And now I can navigate through all these classes, and I can click on them. And on the right-hand side, it shows me Java code. This is not the original Java source, of course. It's decompiled. But as you can see, it's not obfuscated. You can read it as it was written by a good programmer who knows how to do the right syntax and stuff. OK. Was the quickest way to get to the data that I need. Now, remember that file had .ser extension. So in this tool, I can just search for types, constructors, method. I can also search for strings. So I'm searching for .ser string. And here's a few candidates. I'm going to pick this one. And you can see here that it builds the file name here, right? And then we open the file. Then we create input stream. And then we finally call read object method. And this method in Java deserializes data and puts it in an internal object, which goes in this return value. Cool. So I did find the code that actually reads that data that I need from the disk. Now, what can I do with it? Can I just copy, because I'm lazy, copy this whole method and put it in my own program? So I'm creating a brand new program called parser.java. It's going to be my new class called parser. And now I'm just going to paste that code that I just copied from the decompiler here. And I'll need to rename this. It doesn't make sense. This is going to be my constructor. And then I guess I also need all these import statements so it compiles. It's hard to navigate without mouse. Okay, I've got all the imports. I've got my class. I've got my method. Let's compile. And run right away. And I've got a few compile errors, so I need to fix them. That's normal stuff, right? Here are these two variables that are completely useless. I'm just going to comment them out. Since this is a constructor, we no longer return anything. So I need to remove that return value. Delete this one. And we also had an issue with this call, which is, again, useless. OK, try now. OK, it compiled. But then it complained that I didn't have the main method, of course. So again, I hate to type. So I'm just going to copy and paste. Should I move it up? Here's my main method. And in here, we are going to create a new instance of our parser object. And we need to supply a couple of arguments, suite abbreviation and exam number. And these are, it's how this file name is built. So the first part is suite abbreviation, CISSP pract, and the number is 1. I don't know what's the point, but they had the reason to do it. Okay, let's try now. It ran, and it gave me this debugging window, which, again, doesn't give me a lot of value. So I'm just going to comment that out as well. Let's get rid of the useless stuff. And now it ran. It didn't print anything, but I believe it read the data from the disk. And if I can get back to my source code, and it put that data in this return value. So now I need to get those practice questions, all 1,011 of them, and print them out. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that object to the class scope. And I don't like return value. I'm going to rename it to exam. OK? Now, this exam is of this type, exam Java being abstract v3. What can I do with this kind of class? Let's go back to the decompiler. And nice thing about this tool, again, it's a pretty cool tool. You can just click on any class name, and it will take you directly to the declaration. And here we see the very first method of this class is getQuestionBins. So again, I don't want to type. Just want to copy and paste. And I'm declaring a local variable, questions, and assign. And now, in the interest of time, I'm just going to copy some code that I wrote before. And I just explain it to you. Wait. OK, so this is a hash map. And we iterate through this hash map, and we get, on each iteration, we get a single question, and it's of this type. And again, we go back to our decompiler, click on this class name, and it takes us directly to the declaration. We see what methods are available, and the methods are like get question text, get explanation, get choices. And these are the methods that some of them we're going to use here. So we're going to print the question text first and get all the possible choices. All right, save it, run it again, and another compiler. It's OK. So I need to add a couple of Java utils. So I'm just going to wildcard this. Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot this. All right, now this makes more sense. And I forgot to declare it as static. This is normal Java stuff, right? You see it every day. Static. $1,011 questions and choices. And then I can do other things with it. I can break this down to 4 practice exams, 250 questions each, and do anything else I want. Now that I have the object in my program, I can just pull the data. I can randomly select out of that hash map and do other things. Mission achieved. So in conclusion, if things are not in the plain sight, think outside of the box, dig deeper. Like, who would think that you could unzip an executable? It might be possible. It might sound crazy, but Java bytecode, not a problem. You can, in lots of cases, you can decompile it and see Java source code. Now, if you're on a pen test, for example, and it's black box, and you see a jar file or war file, and your rules of engagement do not prohibit you from decompiling, feel free to do it. You'll find good stuff. You'll find credentials. You'll find other things. If you hate to write code, there are lots of ways to reuse code. I show you just one example where I just copied and pasted, and then I just had a bunch of import statements that reused compiled classes. And if you see an imperfect application, hack and improve it, and come back next year and share it with all of us. Thank you. Do we have time for questions? Are there any questions?
Have you written Java before?
What's that?
Have you written Java before this?
Yes, yeah. I did write Java code before.
What indicator did you have to unzip the executable? How did that arise in the first place?
Well, I thought it's probably some kind of self-unpacking program, and then I just had a crazy thought, It just came out of nowhere. Yes?
Were you able to hack the randomize function just to return 1 to 250 and reuse the boolean?
Yeah, so the question is, could you hack randomize function to return 1 to 50 so the questions do not repeat, maybe? Yeah, I guess that's possible. So instead of doing this, I could hack the original program and maybe modify it and repackage it and make it do whatever I want. It would probably be more work than just printing out this in the text form, though. So I spent like maybe 2 or 3 hours on this, and I got my results, and I could, yeah.
If the Java is obfuscated, what technique do you go to next?
That's a great question. What if the code is obfuscated? Yeah, if it is, it's very difficult to read the code. But in this particular example, I didn't have to understand much about what the code is doing. I just copied the method that I thought would work for me, and then did a couple of extra things. So in this case, it would probably not take me a lot of effort to achieve my goal. But Yeah, I don't know. I've not worked a lot with obfuscated code, so yeah. Yes.
Did it help you pass?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I had, yeah, totally. Yes. Do I have my code on GitHub? No, not this code. That's it. Thank you very much.